Are there examples of foods that many people would put into the healthier category? They typically wouldn't associate with processed foods. It's not Doritos. It's not McDonald's. But it still nonetheless is refined or processed to a degree
Sure.
that can also contribute to these things. And if so, what are some examples of those foods?
I'll give you two that people think are good. Whole grains and yogurt. So let's talk about those. We'll do one at a time. Whole grains. So whole grain bread. Is it whole grain? It says whole grain right on the label. Is it whole grain? What's the definition of whole grain? There is none. There is none. That's the key. There is no definition of whole grain because there's a whole grains council, but that doesn't mean that there's a definition of whole grain. And this is, where the rubber hits the road in terms of the semantics of what the food industry is doing to cover up its dastardly deeds. So let's talk about whole grains. Here's a grain right here, okay? The outside is the husk, the kernel, if you will, okay? It's all fiber. Then there's the inside. The inside has two parts. There's the starchy endosperm, where you get flour from, and there's also the germ. And that's where the nucleic acids, the polyphenols, the flavonoids, all the good stuff that you're supposed to get in whole grain is. Everybody with me? So 3 parts. The husk, if it stays intact, it's a whole grain. You swallow it, okay, say in a whole grain, a true piece of whole grain bread, and we'll talk about what that is in a minute. The enzymes in your intestine have to strip this husk off. And we don't have enzymes that work very well for that. So it takes a long time before you can actually get the what's inside to actually be liberated. So it's further down the intestine, into the jejunum, into the ileum, the further parts of the intestine. And there's a good chance that the microbiome is going to want those for their own purposes so that you're feeding them. And so that's why a whole grain is good, because it's a delivery system for getting the food further down the intestine to feed your bacteria. Now, whole grain bread in the supermarket is not whole grain because the grains have been pulverized to smithereens. All right? And that liberated the flour. It also liberated the nucleic acids and polyphenols and all that. And they're still there. Okay? But here's the problem. Those will go rancid now that they've been liberated. So when they're as whole grains, you can store them for months at a time. That's what Pharaoh did, back in Egypt. They kept them whole. And so you can store them. But as soon as you've pulverized them, now they're on the clock. Now they're going to go rancid. And one of the reasons food goes rancid is because of the liberation of proteins and nucleic acids, which tastes terrible if they are oxidized. So the food industry will pulverize the whole grain, and they will then sift off the nucleic acids, the germ, and they will leave you with this powder that still has some fiber, but not very much, and it's not surrounding the starchy endosperm. Now you consume it, and you can't set up that gel that I talked about before, and so the starches are immediately acted on by the saliva and by the stomach acid, and they start breaking up, and now you liberate all of that glucose, and it goes via the portal vein to the liver, generates an insulin spike, and you're off to the races in terms of chronic metabolic disease. The point was, because the food industry, because the bread company started with whole grain, they're allowed to say it's whole grain. But it's not whole grain. So what is whole grain bread? What does it look like? Can you buy it in the store? The answer is yes. Not at Safeway, but you can buy it at Whole Foods. You can buy it at specialty shops that cost more. It's half the size. A 1 pound loaf is half the size of a regular loaf, and it's dense. Okay, the way you can tell whether or not something's truly whole grain or not is if I threw it at your head, would I knock you out? Okay, if it would knock you out, then it's whole grain. If it would bounce off your head and make you say, what the hell did you do that for? Then it's not whole grain. Okay, because real German fitness bread, okay, it's sliced very thin. It makes a lousy sandwich because it doesn't have a lot of gluten liberated. So it doesn't hold together as, spongy. That's why, we don't make, kids sandwiches for school out of whole grain bread, is because the bread will tend to fall apart. But that's true whole grain bread. So you can buy it, but you can't make a sandwich out of it. So that's one thing, whole grains. Number two, yogurt. Now, yogurt has active cultures, right? Well, maybe they do. Not necessarily. They're supposed to. And active cultures help populate the intestine with, quote, good bacteria. In particular, lactobacillus, bifidobacteria. We've now found that bifidobacterium infantis seems to be a very good one. It's one of the things that helps babies, and it seems to be a positive one. So they're adding that now to all of these, to kombuchas and to, other fermented foods in an attempt to try to get them, down into your intestine. The question is, if any of these foods worked, why would you have to keep eating them? If any of these probiotic supplements with these various bacteria worked, why would you have to keep taking them? If they're live cultures, they should set up shop, right? They reach the intestine. It's nice and dark and murky and, all sorts of stuff in there. And certainly bacteria are growing in there. Why don't they just set up shop? Why don't they, distribute themselves throughout the intestine, and you only have to take them once? And the answer is because they're not living anymore. They died. And that's the reason why you needed them, is because your own died, because you have an inhospitable intestinal environment. So you can take probiotics till the cows come home, and they're not going to make a damn bit of difference unless they can grow, and they're not growing. And the reason is because the environment in your intestine is inhospitable in the first place. So you have to change the environment that the bacteria find themselves in. So you don't need a probiotic. You need something that will let the bacteria grow. You need a prebiotic. That's food for bacteria. That's what a prebiotic is. Well, what's the prebiotic that's in real food, in all real food? Fiber. Because that's the food for bacteria. That's what bacteria chew on. That's what bacteria use to make short-chain fatty acids, which are not only beneficial for them, but beneficial for you too, because they suppress the cytokine response. They suppress the inflammatory response. They've been shown to be anti-inflammatory, anti-cardiovascular disease. You need those short-chain fatty acids, acetate, propionate, butyrate. And the only way to get them is to let your bacteria chew on fiber. Well, the fiber's in the real food, but it's been taken out of the processed food. So you have to protect your liver so you don't get the insulin resistance, and you have to feed your gut so you don't get the inflammation, which will also lead to the insulin resistance. You do those two things, protect the liver, feed the gut, and now you've got metabolic health. But there's only one substrate that does that. And it's called real food.
For someone who's seeing, and this happens a lot for people as they start to clean up their diet a little bit, and they're wary of a lot of the gluten-free foods, which actually spike their blood sugar more than even just regular, true whole wheat, right, in your example.
Yep.
So as people start to clean up their diet, sometimes they end up withering down and not having as much fiber. In some instances, there are individuals who also have very reactive gut microbiomes and intestinal systems because of a lifelong
propionate, butyrate. And the only way to get it, but it's been taken out of the processed food. So you have to protect your liver so you don't get the insulin resistance, and you have to feed your gut so you don't get the inflammation, which will also lead to the insulin resistance. You do those two things, protect the liver, feed the gut, and now you've got metabolic health. But there's only one substrate that does that.
Yeah, super interesting to hear Dr. Robert Lustig again, and thank you so much, Drew Purohit, Drew Purohit, that's his name, the host. Go to his YouTube channel, please. Thank you so much. That's the source of this information. And then basically, let me add something. Unfortunately for some people, that are very ill. It's a matter of try or die, and obviously you've seen some commercial messages in between about this new formula called Restore 3.0, and to learn about mitochondria, because what is happening now, and that's more and more, how do you say it, people are discovering more and more that for centuries, like literally centuries, research shows us at this moment, scientists as well as researchers and all kinds of people that have a good attitude or the best intentions, that research tells us basically that we used to be killed through no or lack of education, pandemics, wars, poverty and poor lifestyle. But nowadays we are being killed by marketing CEOs and corporations. So we are being mass murdered, strong words, by Roundup kind of farmers, Roundup using kind of farmers, and through processed foods, lobbyists and crooked politicians. So statins, with other words medicine, that's supposed to help us and make us better, are killing us. And good food and exercise is now the new only way out. And to be clear of conscious, so a proper diet and lifestyle and clear consciousness versus doctors, and clear consciousness versus governments. Foodables instead of medication. We die of symptoms and not specifically tackling the causes of those symptoms. And that's always fear, mind you. Fear is always the cause. From fear we take on identities, the identities that we need to protect ourselves because we are being murdered, we are being killed. And from those identities we upset other people, and then we try to rationalize ourselves by blaming them for hurting us, but really we started. And that's the reverse psychology of addiction. I mentioned just rewind that little phrase, like fear creates identities in order to protect yourself. From those identities we create all kinds of what you call it, it's actually very, very interesting to know the following. Okay, it's horribly truthful, but let me just confront you with the fact that from fear and out of fear we create identities in order to protect ourselves, to protect our own being, to protect our own source, our true self, by transactions, because those identities that we create in order to protect ourselves also create all kinds of transgressions. Some people call it the 7 sins or whatever, but we truly, from those false identities in order to protect ourselves, we upset other people. We become prideful, lustful, vanity, jealousy, envy, and so on and so forth, the sins. And by becoming that and abusing those kind of identities, we upset other people. In response, they react. They react in such a way that is appropriate in many ways, but due to the fact that we're stuck in our identities, we're trying to rationalize our behavior or non-behavior by blaming them, and now you're full of resentment, and down deep you feel guilt, shame and remorse about the transgressions that you committed. And here you go, from that, in order to quiet those guilt, shame and remorse feelings, we start using quick fix methods or addictions. We start using alcohol, drugs, porn, you name it, to just be satisfied as a quick fix, instant gratification, instead of really going to the source and getting rid of our fear and doing the right thing in order to protect ourselves. So that is the reverse psychology of addictions. Don't underestimate what I just told you. There is a way out. So basically, the research is showing us at this moment that we used to be killed by, again, no education or low education, pandemics, wars, poverty and poor lifestyles. And nowadays we are literally being killed by marketing CEOs and corporations. We are literally being mass murdered by Roundup farmers, fast food and processed food, through lobbyists and crooked politicians. So again, medicine are killing us instead of making us better, and reverse psychology and how do you call it? To get better again in your consciousness, plus proper lifestyle and food, is the only way out. But what if there's another solution by means of Restore 3.0, this new product that we are introducing? And this is a list of ingredients that is in the new Restore 3.0 new formula, and it's using extra virgin oil and black seed oil, with other words black cumin seed oil, which is a blessing on itself as a carrier. And then it has 42 nanotized support ingredients, mitochondria support ingredients in it, with a special patented uptake system delivering those nanotized ingredients straight to our cells on DNA level. And that's the best you can get in order to restore your mitochondria, from where your mitochondria and your body will find ways to restore yourself, or to restore us from all kinds of ailments. For example, skin diseases, mental challenges, as well as heart and vascular diseases. So that's a way out. That's a way out. Obviously, there's many ways out, but the facts are basically, in our so-called free world, that at this moment most food, or a lot of food, is highly addictive. Our children our children are junks, full junks. Our parents basically are dealers. Our governments are the food mafia. Our farmers are Wall Street hooligans, using all kinds of horrible stuff in order to adjust their crops. Our bankers are warlords. Our churches are guilt, shame and remorse dictators. Our bodies are owned by governments. Your labor is used as debt and profit strategies. Our souls are owned and abused by priests for centuries. Okay, that's what kings are doing. They let your soul being owned and abused by priests, by the churches, and they own your body by means of registering yourself and using your labor as debt and profit strategies. So now your body is owned by something else, or some entity, as well as your soul. No chance of free-willed survival. Economics, the modern economic systems have become such high-stress environments that there's no way out but drink, drug, use porn, overeating and all kinds of other quick fix addictions, high insulin death traps. Animals we eat are being raised in 6 months, typical United States hallelujah kind of production, instead of many years. Grass-fed, corn-fed animals now, plus pesticides, have become sugar bombs. That's it. In every cow, chicken or pig, there's lots and lots of sugar. So you're eating corn instead of meat. Lobbyists have really become mass murderers. Okay, they own companies own the White House or the house on the hill on purpose, in order to keep us down, to abuse us completely. Climate change, for example, is a joke, a mindfuck mass media trick to distract us towards being 100% codependent to greedy shareholders. And most of them, and that's the sad thing, Hardly anyone does it on purpose. They're not even aware of that they're doing it. They're being taught in Ivy League universities that that's the way to go. So basically food is turned into poison, and we have become addicts to advertisements, screens, and instant satisfaction. You can't outrun and out exercise a bad lifestyle, a sick mind, and a bad diet. Constant orgasms in your mind, constant cravings, and constant consumption, while also scientists and specialists giving you two ways out. One, to keep it, and basically all to keep insulin down, because that's what you should do. The two ways out that people are at this moment, via even influencers, YouTube, healthfluencers nowadays, trying to sell you low carb diet and know your ketone kind of strategies and products. And the second way out is become vegan or raw foodist, or use intermittent fasting, become a macrobiotic freak. Strict disciplines, very hard work, almost impossible. I spent almost 30 years trying to do that way. Extremely hard work. But the best way out is to obviously use Restore 3.0 and allow your mitochondria, which are your powerhouses in your cell. There's organelles, another word for organisms on itself within the cells. Organelles, a group of organelles are called mitochondria. Look it up on Google. And most, if not all, diseases are based on the fact that your mitochondria, your little powerhouses, your little batteries, your little energy makers in your cells are unhealthy. Unhealthy, not supported mitochondria creates unhealthy and even death. Unhealthy bodies and unhealthy lifestyle and even death. So basically, use Restore 3.0 in order to restore your mitochondria, which gives your body the opportunity, your cells the opportunity, in order to find out what is wrong with you and restore it from inside out. And obviously, the other proper lifestyle, proper whole food, etc., and stressless life is also possible and necessary too. Okay, this is not God in a bottle. So there is a way out. There's a third way out, to use Restore 3.0 and use mitochondria, or to restore your mitochondria, which are basically managing everything on autopilot, totally automatically, and very quick due to a patented uptake system, which delivers these ingredients straight to your cells, straight to your mitochondria, instead of being lost like a lot of supplements and vitamins and whatever you're buying, very expensive at this moment. Most of that gets lost into your stomach, in your stomach and in your digestive systems. So Restore 3.0 is cheaper, faster, more effective. Now MOREMITO, the company that's releasing this product, I'm not from the company, I'm just enthusiastic about this absolutely fantastic breakthrough. No mandatory purchases, earn with your own link without buying. If you're short of money, you're able to start your online business absolutely free and earn while you're promoting this, or while you are using your own link in order to create customers/sales in order to get commissions to purchase your own products. No mandatory weekly or monthly orders. There are sort of like ranks, etc., but you won't lose anything. You'll always be able to earn your commissions. No mandatory weekly or monthly order kind of guilt, shame and remorse strategies. No fuss or weird upsells, no hidden agendas, no secrets. More effective than CBD, CBDA and or THC oil in many, many ways. 100% organic and plant-based for those who are worried about that. Unique nanotech absorption technology, patented technology, works at cell and DNA level. Generous profits and team commissions. Everyone until now, and that's just from the company, I've heard that everyone until now, or most of the people are keep using it and keep reordering it. There are even people, most of the people they discovered used the most expensive shipping and handling option in order to get it in. That's how effective, and that's how much they like it, which is obviously the ultimate compliment and testimonial. And it's marketable worldwide due to the ingredients carefully chosen by Dr. Bevan Elliott. He created a recipe, sort of like this whole ingredient list has ingredients in it replacing the ingredients in CBD, CBDA, and THC or wheat oil in order to make it legally, in order to ship it worldwide without the stigmatized laws that are influencing CBD, CBDA, and THC or wheat oil distribution. So worldwide distribution, you're able to market this worldwide. Almost got in a bottle. I do not say that to upset people. That's why I say almost got in a bottle. Join for free and earn without purchasing yourself. No order ship requirements, etc. No tricks, no games, no gimmicks. The 30 days no good back guarantee. I think I saw as well. Just to make sure, as a disclaimer, no medical advice, no claims, no promises, no guarantees. Make a free will decision. Do not let yourself be hyped, indoctrinated by me, who or whatever. Do use your money, or do not use your money, or do not use money you cannot miss. Take care of your basic needs and those you love first. Consult others for and this video is all for educational purposes only. Amounts mentioned or results mentioned are only as an example and a viewpoint. This is not financial advice. Results depends on your own efforts, and I certainly do not take any responsibility that you get from the suggestions and or the products and services that I suggest you look at. Now, mindset is the most important thing. Be grateful for the material wealth that you would like to enjoy here now on earth. Even though you don't have it yet, be grateful for that now, already, with all your emotions, with all your visualization, with anything that you use at the moment, prayer, affirmation. I can teach you some real simple gratitude methods. Grateful people are always happy, healthy, wealthy, and useful, in that following order. No codependency, no emotional traps. Just be grateful. And do the same with your circumstances. Be grateful for the circumstances that you would like to live in, even though your circumstances suck at the moment. And be grateful for the person that you would like to become, even though you're not it yet. Even though you're sick as hell at the moment, be grateful for the person that you would like to become. Visualize that. Be that. You become what you are, basically. And then I'll leave you with that. Practice that. You don't have to sit in a $3,000, $6,000 or $9,000 hallelujah to the multi-billionaire guru, being indoctrinated, hypnotized with NLP systems and whatever. You don't have to do that. Do that. Those are circuses. Fine, enjoy it. Be grateful for that as well. But you don't necessarily have to do that. You don't necessarily have to purchase expensive courses or PDFs or ebooks of campaigns like The Secret. Those are all, how do you say it, products and clever money-making sales funnels. Absolutely okay with that, but you don't necessarily have to do that. Just being grateful is how you practice the law of attraction. And believe me, the reason why the Mona Lisa is so expensive and looked for and looked at is due to the fact that she smiles in a certain way. The Mona Lisa, the painting, smiles in a certain way, which is the highest, her face expresses the highest state of consciousness, the state of being grateful, the Buddha state, the Buddha face, they say. That's why it was a protest by the maker in a way, because in those days when you protested, and again, and it's the same today, when you go against a psychopath or a sociopath like a king or a pharaoh or a tsar or a priest or whatever idiot warmonger, you would have beheaded. So most artists They express themselves by paintings not to be killed, and many were, mind you. So anyway, be grateful. Gratitude is the attitude, and your life will change immediately. I'm not saying that in order to be a priest, your upline MLM network marketing guru, pimp, whatever. Um, how do you say it? Yeah, basically, I don't want to be a motivational speaker, so to speak. Everything that I am telling you right now, I listen to it myself. I need to hear it myself. That's the only reason why I mention it. So be grateful for the person that you would like to become, the circumstances that you would like to live in, and the material wealth that you would like to enjoy. You don't have to strap, you don't have to use you don't have to strap on a bomb, blow yourself up, or join some sort of a holy army for that. You're able to experience heaven on earth. None of those scams and none of that codependency. I wish you all the best. Thank you so much. See you in my back office. See you in our teams. I'll do my utmost best to help you with automation, duplication, video funnels, etc., etc. So click links below for more video information. Leave your best email address and mobile telephone number there where you can do so. We'll send you appropriate video information. Won't scam or spam you. That's not the intention. If you do feel that you're being scammed or whatever, please use a simple mouse click to get yourself out of the list, out of the systems, and or let us know, let me know, so we'll adjust the amount of inspiration and information that we'll send to you. No need to be angry, and then I'll see you on yours definitely in the most wonderful resorts, top hotels worldwide, and on the most beautiful beaches of the world, because that lifestyle is there for you too, and you're more and more than worth it. Thank you so much. God bless.